Ladies and berms, it's Dave Davidson, and I'm going to talk with you today about how to corner your mountain bike, but it's not what you expect. However, if you stay to the end, I will share with you an actual tip, trick type of thing if you're looking for that. A little bit about me, let's just dive right in here. I am not a professional mountain biker, and the reason why you should listen to me is because I actually went out quite a few years ago and got a job, just like most of you do. And instead of becoming a professional mountain biker like part of me wanted to do, what I did is I got some good jobs down in Atlanta. I worked super hard, and what I found going from doctor's office to doctor's office, running basically surgeries, I was there to make sure that the right implant went in the patient. What I found out was that I started having physical problems with my body, like backache, tight muscles, tight neck. And what was crazy is that I went from being someone who could do 20, 30-foot jumps on a bike and cornering at high speeds and being able to have a lot of fun on the bike to literally getting passed by old guys on the trail who were definitely not as good as me, but they were spanking me. And I'm okay with that. I'm always okay with that. I was happy for them. But at the same time, there was a part of me that straight up got angry. I was like, this is important to me. And it was very frustrating. So what I found out was that this inability for me to move properly at age 26 was starting to have an impact on my riding. Now, I also have a couple old injuries and some things that, you know, like most of us, when you live a good life, you break your collarbones and you get your neck torqued in high school football, and those things catch up to you. So I was really frustrated. I couldn't ride. I was only 26, and I worked for years and years and years to try to overcome this challenge. And what I found was that the real key to riding like you want to, if you want to shred a corner, if you want to be 45, 55, 60 years old and still be able to beat the youngsters like I was when I was having my issues, is you need to be able to move like an athlete. You literally need to be able to move like an athlete if you want to even consider doing some of the stuff that you see the pros do online that actually make mountain biking fun. Here's the thing. I actually do have quite a bit of experience with teaching, coaching, and leading riders to being able to do things like riding like a kid again, which is what I started the Mountain Bike Academy for. And so right now I'm going to break down the real true cornering secrets that probably no one else is talking about right here in this video. So get out a sheet of paper or get an Apple Pencil and get ready to take some notes. The first secret to riding like a kid again and being able to corner on command automatically and to pop out of that corner with extra speed that you didn't even know that you had, it's really simple. So you have to be able to get the bike to do what you tell it to, okay? You have to be able to get the bike to do what you tell it to. Now, the problem is most people, most riders, what they do is they focus on body position or weighting their feet or dropping the outside pedal, or keeping their feet level. All of these are techniques, okay? So like we start at the outside and we go technique and we focus on the technique, and then we tell our body to do this technique, and then what happens, we wash out, we grab brake in the middle of the corner, or you end up doing something as embarrassing as just flat out crashing in front of your friends, which we all love that, right? So that's like the wrong way to learn how to do any kind of skill in life. And the reason why is because look at what you do day in and day out. Maybe you work at a desk. Maybe you sit there for 6 to 8 hours. Maybe you're not working at a desk. Maybe you're doing everything but mountain biking and you're standing up working at a computer. Or maybe you are an electrician. You're climbing under houses. Maybe you are a doctor and you're standing over a patient 9, 10, 12 hours a day. I know, I've been there. I've been in the operating room for 10, 12 hours straight while doctors operate. Trying to think of other examples, but you get the idea. It's like you're training your body to upload a movement pattern each and every one of these times. So why in the world would we tell our body a technique? Okay, I'm going to drop my outside foot. Like dropping your outside foot does not equal good cornering. Even if you stack dropping your outside foot, weighting the right foot, braking at the right time, and all these different things, what you're doing is you're actually using half of your brain that's concerned with judging your movement. Now, when we sit there and we judge our movement and we go, am I dropping my right outside foot? Am I holding my arms the right way? Is my elbow outside? Immediately, you're in a state of mind of judgment. And quite frankly, judgment's totally fine here. I don't mind a little bit of judgment here and there as long as it's useful. But the problem is that doesn't allow for a state of flow. Okay? You're just checking a box. Yes or no, did I did this? Okay? I won't get into all of that. I can go way deeper into why that's not the best way to learn how to corner. But again, the philosophy and what we teach when we're working with a student is, look, you just need to be able to move your body the right way off the bike in order to be able to move properly on the bike. So that's number one. It's like you have to be able to get the bike to do what you tell it to. It sounds extremely obvious, but the reason why you're not able to do that is because you're telling your body techniques, and a lot of times our bodies don't work that way. Our bodies are supposed to work automatically. So when I talk about riding like a kid again, what does a 3-year-old do when you hand them a Strider bike? What does a 5-year-old do when they do a jump for the first time? They just do it. Like they don't even think about it. So the problem is, as adults, it's normal, but we lose the ability to get into a state of mind of just allowing ourselves to do it. Plus, you can't afford, if you're 40, 50, even 30, 20 years old, you can't afford to go over the bars at 20 miles an hour and just hope it works out. It doesn't work that way. So the best way to learn, number 2, is don't crash. Okay? So number 2 is don't crash. Because what happens when we crash? If we crash, number 1, it affects our confidence. Number 2, and this is even more important, it teaches our body kind of nothing. It's like, what did we learn from that? Well, yeah, I mean, you can learn from your crashes, but good gracious, do you remember the last time that you got on a bike and you tried to do some kind of skill and immediately you got it? Or after 100 tries, you got it. Forever, you now get that skill as part of your skill library. It's loaded into your mind as an automatic thing. Now, maybe you've got to get the confidence up again to do it, but it's there. Does that make sense? So when we're learning how to ride, when we're discovering new skills, it is not optimal to sit there and try to figure out, oh my gosh, what can I learn from this crash? Like, crashing your way to confidence is really fun when you're 12 years old, when you still bounce and your bones don't snap in half. But man, if you're 30, 40, 50, 60 years old and you have like a job, even if you're a professional mountain biker, like who wants to crash? Like it's not fun. So prerogative number 2 is don't crash. Now, obviously that's not very useful if you're in a state right now. Like if you're listening to this video and you're going, yeah, but every time I try something new, I crash. Okay, well, let's take a step back. Why is that? Okay, well, go back to number 1. Number 1 is move like an athlete. When you move like an athlete and you can get the body to do what your mind wants it to, then it's a completely different ballgame. Does that make sense? So if you were able to get your body to do exactly what you needed it to do, wouldn't you be able to corner or jump or whatever skill that you want, right? So the real problem is that, again, you're focusing on technique and focusing on the wrong thing. If you're listening right now and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I could just go watch a how-to video and practice it. One thing that you're going to notice as well, if you don't have these first 2 things dialed, in other words, if you can't get the body and the bike to do what you want, and if you're crashing, then you're already in the negative. You have to at least cover those first 2 bases, and in order to do that, a lot of times to do the really fun stuff, it means that you can't touch that feature. If you're not able to go out and confidently say, I can get my bike to do what I want it to, and I'm probably going to crash, then if you're a smart rider, you probably just need to avoid that feature. If it's a 20-foot drop and you know that you've never done anything more than a 3-foot drop, yeah, good luck. That's incredibly high risk. But if you're sitting here thinking, all I want to do with my riding skills is take it to that level where my friends are watching what I do, I send it off the 10, 15-foot drop and they go, dude, where did you learn to do that? Like, we thought you were like kind of casual here, but you're showing us how to do it. So if that's you and you want to do this, the single most important thing you can do is to take care of number 1 and 2 there, okay? It's learn to move like an athlete and really get your body to do exactly what you tell it to. Like when you were a 5, 10, 12-year-old. I know that might sound a little weird or maybe a little bit unbelievable, but it's possible. Now, obviously, if you have had like a major injury where you've ripped ligaments apart and the doctors told you you're never going to be the same again, yeah, it's going to be harder for you. But my goodness, this is about building the type of body that does what you tell it to so that you can corner like a champ, so that you can show your friends this is how it's done. Maybe so you can go to the races and finish up at the podium rather than, somewhere in the middle of the pack and just be like, well, got to tell my wife that, I slipped out in the corner and now she's got to take me to the hospital, rather than, yeah, honey, I'm on the podium. Pretty sweet, huh? So if you start with number one and move like an athlete, if you can learn to move like an athlete, you can do pretty much any kind of skill, and frankly, in any kind of sport. And what you do, this translates into improving your entire life. So it's one of those things that's so easy to overlook. Now, number two, the don't crash protocol. Here's a secret. Now, what I do is this method, we're maybe going to rename it, but right now we call it the mountain bike movement reset. The mountain bike movement reset. And the whole thesis and the whole theory of this is that if we can take a human being and optimize movement to be natural and childlike in the way that we approach it. In other words, if you want a corner, just you pop into it and it's automatic, then you're probably not going to crash. Now, here's the bonus part I was talking about a few minutes earlier. There is a way to train your body. There is a way to train your body and load skills into it with zero risk of crashing. Okay, now at the risk of me sounding like some guy peddling like I want to say butter pills here. Can you say butter pills? So at the risk of sounding like I'm selling complete snake oil here, it's absolutely possible. Why? Because, and again, this is what a clinic will not teach you. This is what a fitness program will not teach you. This is what going and getting a lesson will not teach you. And I guarantee you, following your friends down a trail while you try something 3 times harder than you've ever tried before, I can guarantee you that that won't do this. So the mountain bike movement reset is a process in which we take the programming of the mind and how we move, and we upload better programs that can be directly translated into mountain biking skills. Okay, so this is off the bike work. Who this is really for is that middle-aged mountain biker who, for some uncanny reason, can't figure out why, but smashing that corner is incredibly important to them. They literally can't figure out why, but they're like, I have to figure this out. So a mountain bike movement reset, what it is, it allows you to upload the type of movements that are athletic, that get your body to tell the bike to do exactly what it needs to do, but you're not riding the bike when you learn it. Therefore, you can learn these physical skills, these movement patterns that are literally locked into your mind before you even get on a bike. It's actually been around for forever. This is something that we are born with, actually. Believe it or not, this is it's kind of like an old approach that's never really been applied to mountain biking, and frankly, not to a lot of sports to begin with. I kind of stumbled on this when I mentioned that I had some back and some neck issues, and I was what probably didn't contribute to those 10, 15 years ago when I was having all these issues and getting passed by older riders was the fact that I also rode a single-speed, fully rigid, surly karate monkey on downhill trails. That probably contributed to the pain. What I've found, though, is that I literally noticed that a few years before, I could come into a crazy free ride, right, left-hand corner with a big old jump there, and I could corner easily and carry my speed through without braking and then launch into a jump. What I noticed after I started having these issues is that my body wouldn't respond when I asked it to do the things that I wanted it to do. I still had the same bike. I was riding the same trails with the same friends, and I sucked. So what I started doing is I literally had to go to physical therapy in order to do this. And I started to notice an improvement in things I didn't expect. Okay, so the thesis, the philosophy of this is just literally purely movement-based. I actually took a break from riding for months, for about 2-3 months when I went to physical therapy for the first time. And it just so happened to touch on a few of the movement patterns that I needed in order for me to do my cornering. So here's the crazy thing is you don't know what the movement patterns are. You can't know, because unless you have spent your entire life dedicated to understanding motor control skills, movement patterns, and how to train those in the body, I mean, good luck squeezing that in a 10, 20-minute workout. So anyways, that's kind of when I discovered this and I started playing around with it. And it just kind of started with me there. And later on, and just kind of, again, this is a pretty extemporaneous type of YouTube video, so if you're still with me, thanks. But anyways, what I found, though, is that this is actually something that can be applied like a science. And I'm the luckiest person in the world because I didn't stumble on any kind of way to fix this. Actually, the way to fix this married my sister. So my brother-in-law is one of the foremost movement experts, and that's what he does. His whole life is dedicated to helping people move like an athlete. But he had never worked with any mountain bikers before, and I said, bro, we got to do something here. So what I did is I gave him the biggest challenge I could think of. I said, I want you to make me better than I was in high school and college at mountain biking. And I'm 36 now. When I started working with John, my brother-in-law, I was actually just 32 years old, 31, 32 years old. And I did some simple movements daily. And what I did is I took 65 days off of mountain biking completely. I didn't touch any of these guys. Didn't touch them. Didn't go to the trails. Didn't look at any dirt. Walk around like this. And what I found is I simply did a 10 to 15 minute routine every single day. Now, this is not what you should do. This is just what I did for my experiment. I went out to the same trail that I had gotten passed on a few months earlier, 65 days earlier. And no changes to the bike, nothing. It was just a normal day. And it was the best I had ever ridden a bike in my life. And I was not bad before. So it blew my mind. And what I found is that when I shared this philosophy with a few other people, it worked for them too. It worked like magic. I had one guy reach out to me and he said, and this is Lee, and he said, hey, I was riding with my kids and I haven't picked up a bike in 30 years. And I've worked on the things you gave me. And what I found is that I can actually do bigger jumps than when I was a kid. And he sent me a video and he was sending like 15, 20 foot gaps. And I'm like, you're 48, dude. Good job. So it was just mind blowing. So again, let's recap. Look, if you want to corner, the single most important thing you can do, aside from learning the skill, is move like an athlete. Get your body to do what you tell it to do. And number two, it's don't crash. In other words, learn these skills without crashing at all by uploading a new movement pattern and a new way of going about moving on your bike without even going 5 miles an hour. If you're standing completely still, there's virtually no risk at all. Now, obviously, this is not something that everyone can just, do on a whim, and you might not know exactly how to approach this. That's totally fine. A couple of the things we do when we work with riders, I think, to my knowledge, we're the only mountain biking company in the entire world that differentiates our training between, is this a movement? Is this a problem with how you move as a rider? Or is this a technique and skill challenge? So we're the only ones in the whole world that approach it this way. If you go to a mountain bike instructor, they will guaranteed focus on technique and riding with you, which is great. But we're the only ones that do both. Hey, what's the root issue? Is it your ability to move, or is it your technique, or is it both? So that's how we approach things. I hope this idea resonates with you. And I can appreciate that this video has very little technique in it. So here's the bonus. I think I gave you one already. So listen, if you are cornering and you want to improve that, here's one little tactical takeaway that I want to give you. This won't be a magic bullet, probably won't change a whole lot. One thing you can do to test if your body is doing what you tell it to while you're cornering is, in the middle of a corner, notice if there's weight loading onto your hands or pulling back on your fingers. Okay, so if you feel pressure on your palms or if you feel pressure on your fingers, that means that you're actually completely out of balance and you're riding on your hands rather than through your feet. Now, the reason I know that this is a your body doing what you're telling it to is because with cornering, you have a change of centripetal acceleration as you're going around a corner, which means that if you stand still and let the bike go, it'll push up into you and throw you back that way, right? And so if you want to connect your body and tell it to do the proper thing, you're actually going to be engaging a small muscle deep into the core called the transverse abdominis. And what it does is it acts like a weight belt to stabilize your entire core. Okay. So in order to properly corner and get your body to do what you're telling it to do, your upper body and your lower body kind of need to work in unison. And there's some technique things that need to be in place too. But if you have those down and you're still feeling like unbalanced, a lot of it has to do with actually not tightening your core, but making sure that your hands feel light and your feet feel heavy while you're cornering. And you'll notice, here's the thing, you'll notice in your core that you feel like a gentle tension around the center of your body. That's how you know that you're activating that muscle properly. And again, there's a lot of technique stuff we can talk about on another video, but I just wanted to give you guys, again, this very theory-based and, kind of belief-based approach of where we are and what we do. So if you enjoyed today's video, like and subscribe. Does everyone say that? I guess that makes me a YouTuber now. So like and subscribe. If you want to get more content, where I break down the exact techniques that you need to ride like a kid again, hang out here. We've got a lot of great stuff for you. Tune into the channel. I'll be posting videos quite a bit, and we'll hope to see you on the next one. Catch you soon.